Tema Motorway Project clearly was part of the General Roads Improvement Program under John Dramani Mahama to tie into the Port Expansion Project. You were not going to have efficiency of port services, port delivery services, if your road network and your road infrastructure could not carry the increase, the projected increase in transactions at the port. So you needed to expand your road infrastructure leading out of the port so that when the vessels arrive, there will not be congestion at the port because of the slow movement of vehicles out of the port. So that was a general idea. So it was a holistic program to deal with the port expansion and the related bottlenecks that might impede or militate against the intended port expansion project and its benefits. And so the government and the John Dramani Mahama have settled on one, the redevelopment of the Tema Motorway. And so we had gotten money from Japan to do that. But before even the Japanese money came, or the money from Japan came, the company that was to do the expansion project at the port decided to use their own resources through corporate social responsibility to redesign the Tema runabout to ensure that their vehicles, when they were carrying the boulders from the Shire Hills to the Tema port, would not be caught up in gridlock around the runabout. Now, when the work on the expansion project started, the Ministry of Roads, working through the Department of Urban Roads, engaged with the Ports and Harbours Authority through the Ministry of Transport to create a dedicated route from the port through to the Tema Motorway. When you look at the Golden Jubilee, there's a port holding area called Golden Jubilee, and the area around it, you will see that there have been a lot of expansion works, road expansion works, to ensure that goods, when they come in, can be, especially vehicles, can move out quickly. And that road expansion work now leads you to a runabout. That runabout was to be developed. The road that runabout was to be developed through the Tema Hospital Road up to the Ashama interchange, Ashama Bridge. That is the interchange, and down onto the motorway. And that was going to be the dedicated route. Now, the Tema Motorway was also redeveloped into a 6-lane road with slip routes, because Tema Motorway is now in the middle of exploring communities, and so you needed slip routes so that people could come onto the road and get off the road. So you needed a 6-lane road from the Tema Motorway up to the Tetakwashi runabout. The Tetakwashi runabout subsequently would have also been affected by development, because the 6-lane road, when it gets to the Tetakwashi interchange, will now come into 4-lane, and so congestion will occur there. And so we were thinking that the first phase should be to develop the road from the Tema roundabout on to Tetakwashi, and subsequently redevelop the road, the Tetakwashi interchange, and then the NN1, including the Achimota Police Station Road to join the Kumasi road. So that was the program.
But the interchange, the part about the redevelopment of the interchange was implemented under this government. Why? What about the motorway? What was the state of seeking funding for that particular program before you left office?
Oh, that those who were doing the port expansion had also said that they were committing about $200 million to do the Tema Motorway, and under a PPP. So the project was a PPP project. At the time that even the company said they were making $200 million available to do the Tema Motorway, the World Bank itself was interested in funding the Tema Motorway. They had even appointed a transaction advisor for the Republic of Ghana to look at the motorway. So the motorway redevelopment program was just a question of time, but not resources. Because at the time that we were leaving office, we had these MB people who were interested in funding the Tema Motorway project under a PPP, and then the World Bank was also interested in providing resources for the implementation of the Tema Motorway.
So there were no funding issues as at the time you were leaving?
No, we didn't have funding issues.
Okay.
In fact, we had even started the negotiations. We had gone onto the road. There were about 26 or so bridges on that road. We were looking at the state of the bridges and whether all the bridges would need reconstruction because the road was going to be expanded. We had also settled that because of the sentimental significance of the concrete that was used to build the road, we would not change the nature of the road. Any redevelopment of the road must be concrete, so that concrete road, which was the initial design by the first president, was still be maintained. So we had discussed all these things. The Ministry of Roads had engaged with the Ministry of Transport and the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority on how to proceed on the implementation of the project.
If that was so, I'm guessing you handed all this over to your successor.
Yes. I didn't hand over notes. They had over notes.
Did you understand why it never progressed till now?
I don't have capacity to ask the minister why he never continued with the flow.
But you could have raised that as a representative of Tamale Central or a member of Parliament.
Well, you know Ghana politics. When you leave office and when this government leaves office, and if they don't know that I'm using your platform to tell them, their stewardship will be under scrutiny. When we left office, we were seen as daredevils. In fact, at one point on another network, I was so angered that I retorted when a comment was made that we were not daredevils appointed as ministers to run down this country. And that we were using our best endeavors to ensure that we move the development of this country forward. That restored some sanity into the discussion. So, when we left office, this government did not see anything good about what we were doing. Anything. They didn't see anything good. I mean, just tell me a project that was continued immediately after we left office. I mean, all road infrastructure projects that were taking place during our time, they simply issued a fiat, a stop work fiat order. And then for more than 6 months, in some cases 2 years, work on those routes were never resumed, under the guise of auditing what we were doing. Thank God they finished their auditing. Even you are talking about Tema Motorway, we secured an European Union loan of about 23 or so million euro to continue work on the Kumasi drains. The Minister of Roads and Highways, when Mubarak asked a question about the state of the loan, appeared not to know anything about the loan. So they just jettisoned all that we were doing and started their own program. They did not care. They did not have the decency of mind.
About an initial arrangement that was supposed to involve a contractors, a PPP arrangement as well, that was supposed to involve contractors finding money to execute the contract.
I say that the contractors found money, 200 million. It was led by Alhaji Banda. Even there's a video clip. There was a video, I don't know whether I can find it on my phone, that I, Joyce, Alhaji Banda, the company, the old man, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the Chief Executive of Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority and all that, were discussing these things. And Alhaji Banda even mentioned the 200 million for the road project. And I made the comments. There's a video about that. It's not something which is hidden.
No, but I'm not asking about the state under this government. Because it looks like they had a different sort of process in which they attempted to get a company that was supposed, they said they ended up with a Spanish company. Construction.
Oh, the Monte what group?
Yes.
No, that one is a gigantic fraud.
Oh, fraud?
The minister said that the company was going to bring its own money to do the work. Do you recall that? But there's a letter from the Ministry of Finance under the hand of the minister, Kenoforata, directing them to go to Ghana Infrastructure Fund for resources to fund the project.
No, but they explained that when they did the process, none of the companies, including even the Spanish company, actually submitted a bid that they considered technically viable. So they decided to raise the money by themselves. But because they have seen the Spanish company's proposal in terms of the technical work they've put forward, and they were happy with it, they actually did a sole sourcing for them to be awarded the contract whilst they look for the money before they go to Parliament, among others.
What I'm saying is that you don't have resources. So under what condition can you sole source a contract? to a foreign company. One, if that foreign company is bringing the resources to do the work. Two, if that foreign company is being engaged on a PPP basis, then you will say that yes, because the company is bringing resources and we are going to do a public-private partnership. We've looked at all the parameters and indicators, and it looks like the partnership will be mutually rewarded or beneficial for the country and the company. You agree to the terms under which the PPP should be implemented. And so that company is selected based on an evaluation of its proposal. That's one way. The other way is the company knows that Ghana is facing a development challenge. We want to redevelop our motorway. We don't have the resources. But because they are a company whose finances probably are good or who have financial leverages with banks, can secure money from their bankers for the implementation of the project. And so they bring a term sheet, the terms and conditions under which they will secure an amount needed for the implementation of the project. Ghana government will then evaluate the terms and conditions under which a loan of X amount of money or that amount of money will be granted. And if government is satisfied that the terms are not onerous, then the company can be engaged based on the fact that they are bringing money to do it. So under what condition did they engage the company? I mean, you can't say that you are not doing a PPP, the company is not bringing money, but the terms of the proposal or the company are so acceptable to government. What proposal is that? That when you get money, we'll be able to implement the project or what? I don't know what proposal are they talking about. That's why I say it's a gigantic fraud. Because you sign a company, you sign a contract with a company at a time when you do not have the resources to implement the contract, to when you do not have parliamentary approval to engage a foreign company, 3, when the company itself has not demonstrated any capacity to bring the resources to implement the project. So what were the reasons that justified the execution of the contract? And was it a contract at all that you entered into when there has not been parliamentary approval of that contract?
So for you, the explanation that we've only entered into a commercial agreement, we are now working out the financial details. When we do that, we take it to Parliament. Does that add up?
Since the XTS deal, it has always been a requirement that the financial arrangement and the commercial arrangement must both come to Parliament. So it is no excuse to say that we have entered into a commercial arrangement and that when we do the financials, we bring it to Parliament. In fact, you must do the financial before you do the commercial. You don't do it the opposite. I mean, you don't reverse it. You do a financial, and then so we've gotten money to do this work. And then the company says, yes, the money is available. And this is how I'm going to use the money to do the work. And that is the commercial.
Okay, so it's the reverse that they are doing.
There is the reverse that they are doing. So you don't have money, and you are saying you are doing commercial agreement. And have they shown you the commercial agreement at all? Have you seen the commercial agreement? So they are saying that they have entered into a commercial agreement.